What's up, Bulldogs? All right, in this video, we're going to be talking about outcome independence, all right? Why outcome independence is actually not bullshit, all right? Some people sometimes think about this as not having motivation is a negative thing, but outcome independence is always a good thing. We're going to talk about why that is exactly in this video. If you guys are just joining me for the first time, I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. All right, I teach you how to build financial independence, get the physique you want, get the girls you want, go from the victim mindset to the Bulldog mindset. Click that subscribe button and join us. All right, also take the quiz up here in the cards to figure out what your Bulldog score is. All right, so I'm going to start off by reading you an email that I got from Elvis here. And Elvis says, "Hey, John, I remember you talking about how one should not be attached to the outcome of things, i.e. stoic mindset. And I would like to know more of what you think. I believe that one should be attached to the outcome, but have the ability to brush off undesired results easily and have the ability to move forward quickly. The only thing a man can do is to move forward." All right. It's obviously very difficult because being attached to the outcome implies scarcity mindset and emotional attachment. But if a person is not attached, then he or she will put considerably less effort and thought because of no attachment. What do you think? All right. So I see your point, Elvis. I see your point, but I disagree. Let me tell you why. All right. We're going to start off by this. So first of all, I don't want you to fall for the trap. There's a trap here in thinking that outcome independence means that you can't desire an outcome. Okay. You can desire an outcome without being attached to it. All right. I can want something, but be okay with if what I want doesn't happen. And this is so key in life, guys. If you want to be successful in life, you need to develop this. Otherwise, you're going to be disappointed all the time. You can have desires. You can want something, but you have to be okay with whatever happens. Ultimately, your greatest desire must be for what exists to be, right? For what happens to have happened, right? For reality that must be your desire, is for whatever happens, for it to happen exactly that way, right? That's what your greatest desire has to be. Now, here's the thing. All right. So let's talk about this trap here of thinking that you can't desire an outcome. All right. It's about aiming versus hitting the target. All right. Now you aim for what you want to do and you do everything that you can to make it happen. Right. So let's say that I'm aiming at a target. All right. I'm going to aim at that target. All right. I've got my arrow. I've got my bow. I'm going to aim at it. All right. And I want to hit the bullseye. That's what I want to hit. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do everything I can to that I can up to that point of letting go of the arrow. So I'm going to position the bow, right? I'm going to look at the target. I'm going to check the wind. I'm going to do every calculation that I can, every preparation that I can. But then once I let go of that arrow, then I'm going to stop trying to control the outcome. Up until I let go of that arrow, I am doing what I can. I'm positioning myself. I'm trying. I'm working towards this goal. Okay. But ultimately, my goal is not to hit the bullseye. My goal is to aim as best as possible. There's a key difference. Why is this difference so important? Because one thing I'm in control of, the other thing I'm not. I am in control of how I aim. I am in control of how I practice, how much archery I do in order to improve my skills to get to the point of being able to aim better. All right, that I can control. It's in my direct control. What I'm not in control of is the arrow hitting the target. I can increase the probability, but that's all that I can do. And that's what we're aiming for, right? So when I let go of that arrow, I have to accept whatever outcome comes, knowing that I did everything that I could. And it's up to me to do what I can to aim. But what happens ultimately is not up to me. All right. Now, so someone might say, John, well, doesn't that mean you are attached to the outcome, right? If you desire some outcome, are you attached to the outcome? Are we just semantics here? Are we just playing with words? No, it's only if you have an expectation. Okay. What I encourage you to do, I talk about this in a lot of my videos, is that I want you to let go of expectations. I want you to not have expectations on people in the world, and I want you to not let them put expectations on you. But it's so key for your happiness in life, right? Negative emotion comes from a unmet expectation. You let go of expectations, you let go of negative emotions. This is especially if you've dealt with anger, this especially is going to be important to you. Now, when I play poker, all right, I do not expect to win when I have the best hand. All right. I only know it's likely. Right. So, and this happens, people go on tilt. They, it's a bad beat. They complain, they rave about this. But if I have the best hand, I only expect that it's likely that I'll win. I don't have a real expectation, all right? I just know it's likely that I'll win, but I know that it's not always going to happen, all right? And there's a subtle difference there between expecting and believing outcome is likely. All right. If you expect something, it means that if it doesn't happen, you're disappointed and you're shocked. You built something on top of it. An expectation is something you build on top of, right? It's like a foundation, right? If I expect something and I build on top of that, and I'm counting on the bottom to be there, right? A belief that an outcome is likely is different. That's saying, okay, well, this is likely to happen, but I'm not going to plan ahead of that. I'm not going to assume that this is going to happen. I'm going to have a plan B. I'm going to say that, it's probably likely this is going to happen, but it's not guaranteed, right? This is the key, right? So that's how you don't have an outcome attachment, all right? Now, brushing off undesired results, that's a good thing. That is good. It is good to do that, all right? The key is to realize that everything is a probability. Okay, everything is a probability, all right? You make high probability plays based on EV, or expected value. Okay, this is a statistics term. It's used a lot in poker, but expected value, what you're going to try and do in life is to do the things that have the highest probability or the highest return for you based on the action. Now, some of the things will have a high expected value because they have a high likelihood of happening, all right, and maybe the reward is small. Some things will have a high expected value because they have a low probability of happening, but if they do happen, the reward is tremendous, okay? Like, for example, making a YouTube video on this YouTube channel, all right? Every YouTube video I make is not going to result in a viral video and grow the channel, but there's a chance, right? That over time, if I do this, I will grow the channel. Like, there will be videos that will be astronomically better than other videos, all right? Now, you have to realize that undesired results are part of life. Okay, so brushing off undesired results, that's good. All right, so think about it this way. Here's a good example for you. If you roll a 100-sided die, and if it lands on 100, you lose $1,000. And if it's any other number, you win $1,000. Okay, that sounds like a pretty good bet. Okay, now, sometimes you will lose. Okay, someone will lose. Now, if 1,000 people play that game, 10 of them on average will be extremely unlucky and lose $1,000. Imagine that. Imagine if I said right now, okay, we're going to roll this 100-sided die, and if it lands on anything besides 100, I'm going to give you $1,000. But if it lands on 100, you're going to give me $1,000. And you're like, yeah, this is a sucker bet. Obviously, it has a high EV, right? Expected value. So you should take that bet every time. But 1 out of 100 times, what's going to happen? You're going to lose it. And if you have an expectation that you're going to win this, right? Most people would, because there's a 99% chance that you're going to win, all right? But there's a 1% chance that you're going to lose. You still can't have an expectation, okay? Because if you do it 100 times, you're going to lose once, all right? And if 10,000 people do it, 10 people are going to lose. You could be that unlucky person, right? Someone has to be it. So that's why you can't have an expectation, even on things that have very high probability, even 1 in 1,000, okay? You cannot have an expectation because it's unreasonable. It's ridiculous. Everyone can't have that same expectation. It would be ridiculous. So instead, you have to say, okay, well, there's a high likelihood that I'll win, but there is a chance that I'll lose. And if I lose, I'm not going to flip my shit. Okay, I'm not going to throw a fit and say how life is unfair, because there was always that risk. All right. Now, this applies to women. All right, you guys. All right. In fact, this is the exact mindset that's going to make you more successful with women. All right. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but I have plenty of videos on this topic in the Bulldog Mindset membership. It's $7 for the first month. Go check it out. Click the link down below. All right. There's also a link in the cards, and you can join. It's a huge community of men. I've got videos every single week on all kinds of dating stuff, on all kinds of financial stuff, how to invest in real estate, how to build a business, all kinds of stuff. We have so many successful members in there. And it's just a huge community of really strong men. If you want to become a strong man, you have to be around strong men. So go check it out. $7. It's totally worth it. You'll love it. Promise. All right. Now, will being unattached lead to less effort? Right. This is another thing that Elvis was implying in the video. Okay. And then it's reasonable to say that. I think a lot of people believe this, but it's not true. No, it should lead to more effort. Okay. Why? Because you know that you must aim exceptionally well and that you may have to fire multiple arrows. Okay. If you have an expectation that you're going to succeed at something, if you expect some kind of result, okay, if you're attached to the outcome of a thing, you're going to put in less effort. All right. I know that seems contrary, but the more that you have that expectation, it becomes like an entitlement where you think that you deserve this thing. All right. Now, some people don't handle it that way, but most people eventually do. But if I think, all right, I don't have an expectation. All right. I don't have a attachment to an outcome. Right. I want my desired specific outcome. But if I'm going to get that outcome, I'm not attached to that specific result. I'm okay with whatever result happens. Okay. If I have that, but I know that I have a desire for something, that means I have to aim very carefully, okay? It means I might have to fire multiple arrows, so I should try harder. I should put in more effort, knowing that it's up to luck to some degree, right? That I can't desire one specific outcome from one specific interaction. Instead, it may take 100 interactions or 1,000 interactions where I would have a positive expected value and be able to say, well, over 1,000, it's very, 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 very likely that I will achieve the result that I desired. I'm still not attached to that result, but that is what's going to produce more desire. Now, one thing I want to point out real quick, if you guys notice, I've got a new office. I'm still setting up. Hopefully the sound is better here, but I have a canvas here. All right. And this was donated by posterburner.com. All right. I figured I would plug him in this video. I said I would since he sent me a free canvas here, but he printed this up for me. It's really cool. And, you know, I'm going to definitely get it hung up. When I create my full studio someday, I need to work on that. But I just moved. And, you know, posterburner.com. Let me see if I can bring up the site here and you can take a look at it. But I encourage you to go check it out. Really, really cool stuff here. Let me bring it up. Okay, so we're going to look at this one. Okay, yeah, posterburner.com. Yeah, go check it out. Go support him since he was kind enough to donate. Just send it right to me. I appreciate that, obviously. All right, so let's move on here. All right, this is what I want you guys to understand, is that ultimately outcomes don't matter anyway. All right, this is something that is harder. You know, I covered the logical aspect of this because a lot of you guys are going to be like, well, I desire outcome. I want to get rich. Granted, I get that, you know, but ultimately you have to have the mindset that outcomes don't matter. And when you look at the bigger picture of fulfillment, okay, it's much more important. And that comes from just doing the work. I know when you look at me, you're like, John, it's easy for you to say that. You've been successful. You've made millions of dollars. You've banged hot women. You've done all these things. So you could say that, but I just want a taste of that life. Okay. Let me tell you, none of those things matter. What matters to me is the work that I put in, who I became as a person on that path. And believe me, I have a whole video, you know, it's a trailer video for this channel right now where I talk about retiring at 33 and how I was so miserable about that. But listen to this quote. Okay. I've talked about this quote before from the Bhagavad Gita. All right. Really good book. It says here, you have the right to work, but for the work's sake only. You have no right to the fruits of work. Desire for the fruits of work must never be your motive in working. All right. That's straight from the Bhagavad Gita. All right. Very important, very critical. It's very, very true. It's ancient wisdom. And I really encourage you guys to meditate on that. If you can hold that belief in life, you are going to be 100 times more happy and fulfilled in life. If you're constantly attached to outcomes, right? If you're not outcome independent, your life will be much more miserable.